Hi, welcome back. Today we're talking about colors. We're going to talk a little bit about how they mix and all of that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some ways of coloring a picture, simple things, easy little things I used to do when I was young and what I do now. All right, so it's going to be pretty exciting. So let's go ahead and talk about colors. I don't know if you guys ever heard of a color wheel. It's basically a visual representation of colors and what they mix to become, right? So, first color, first three colors are primary colors. And these colors are yellow, red, and blue. Yellow, red, and blue are colors that if you have paint, right? So let's say you're painting a picture on a canvas, a beautiful picture. These colors cannot be made by mixing other colors. You can't mix other colors to make yellow. Yellow is primary color. You have to have yellow. You can't mix colors to make yellow. Same thing with red and same thing with blue. You can't mix colors to make them. You have to either have the paint or you're stuck, right? Now, let's talk about secondary colors. Secondary colors are colors that you can use the primary colors to make, right? So, for example, green. Green is made by mixing yellow and blue. Let's take purple. Purple is made by mixing blue and red. And then let's take orange. Orange is made by mixing yellow and red. And that's what makes orange. We're going to stick to that for now to keep it very simple. So primary colors, yellow, red, blue. Secondary colors, green, purple, orange. And we're going to use these to make other colors, right? Today we talked a little bit about colors. And now let's go on to how to color. Well, some techniques of how to color. Everyone can do their own thing. Color inside or outside the lines, doesn't matter. This is just some stuff I do. All right, let's get to it. So here we are. So there's our color wheel right up there. And if you guys remember what I just said, you can kind of make any color out of this. Kind of. So what I was missing is black and white. So black and then I guess let's pretend that that's white, right? The inside. Okay, so sometimes you need a color to be a little darker, and sometimes you need the color to be a little bit lighter, right? And if you need them to be darker or lighter, that's where black and white come in. All right, so let's take this color peach right here. Well, it's like a pink, right? What is pink? You can kind of already look at it and say, oh, well, pink looks like a light red because it basically is. So you're going to take your red and mix in white, and that gives you your pink. Or like peach. It looks a little orangey, right? So to make it a little orangey, why don't we just add a little bit of yellow? Because isn't that what orange is? Red and yellow. Let's go with this color. What is this? This color basically is orange, but with white, right? So let's take this darker color. It's like a dark orange, right? So it's orange with a little bit of black mixed in. And you can kind of do this with anything. So let's go green, right? So this green here is lighter than this green, but it looks a little bit yellowy, right? So it's basically blue and yellow to make green, but with a little bit more yellow to it to make it a lighter yellowish green. So that's basically the basics, right? That's the basics of coloring, of coming up with colors. Uh, Use the color wheel, and you can Google it. It's all over the internet. Color wheel, and you will see a lot of information on the internet about it. Color theory and color wheels and all this stuff. But I also said I was going to teach you guys how to color a picture. This is for, those of us that need a little bit of help with coloring. Let's get rid of this for now. So this is kind of my beginner technique of how when I was a kid, how I would color to make sure I stayed inside the lines. Now, if your plan is to go outside the lines, then by all means, do you. But if you wanted to stay in the lines and you have a little bit of problems trying to stay inside the lines, maybe this might work for you, right? So let's pretend that we have a crayon here, right? So pretend this is a crayon or color pencil or whatever. I'm not going to color her exactly how she's supposed to be, but we're just going to make up colors. So her hair is green today because it doesn't matter. It's art. What I used to do is I would use the crayon and color on the outside like this. The area that I wanted to color the green, right? And that kind of gives me a little bit of a border. That gives me a little bit of a border. And then it made it easier to just go ahead and color and go crazy on the inside. And I don't have to worry about getting outside of the lines too much because I made myself a little space, right? So again, I would go around and then I would color the inside. I would go around and then I would color the inside like that. I would use the crayons to help me stay in the lines. All right, so again, go around and color. That was the easiest thing for me to do when I was 5, 6 years old, right? And coloring. It helped me stay in the lines. And then over time, I got better and better. So over here, you guys can see, whoop, I still got outside the lines. Ugh, look at that. That's okay. Okay. If you're using a computer program like this, then it's pretty easy to just erase it. But if you were coloring on paper, you would try to be a little bit more careful to not make it outside the lines. And if you did go out the lines, it's fine. It's all about practice. All right. So what else? Let's color her skin. Like, sure. So what color is her skin? It's like a pink, like a peach. Is this the right color? Sure. And then we color her ear. And we color her face. And I still use that technique. Oh, I'm on a computer, right? So I kind of got carried away. I just kind of color everything, and then I go ahead and erase things I don't want, or make a new layer and color over them. So I kind of got carried away. But in on a paper with a crayon or a color pencil or a marker, you would be more careful not to color inside the eyes. That's just me slipping up. So you got to be careful going around. Now that we've colored all this, right? Let's dive a little deeper. Remember episode 1 with the square and all the other episodes we were talking about light and shadow, right? So if there's light, then there's shadow, right? This is a good example of that. So once again, you're with your crayon, right? So you have your crayon and you're coloring away. You want to bring a little bit of depth, right? A little bit of oomph to this. You can take a darker crayon, or if you were pressing very lightly with the crayon you had now, you can press a little harder, and that's going to help make a subtle change of light. But normally you would get a darker color. So we were here, and now I'm going here. And with this color, anything pointing down, right? So we all know that our faces are like this. We have a chin, and then we have a neck. So this part here is, oh, again. I keep forgetting I'm in the corner. All right, let's fix this. Okie doke. So we have a face, we have a mouth, we have a chin, we have ears, we have a neck. This part here, it's not really going to catch that much light, right? Because it's kind of hanging over. It's going to create a shadow. So that's essentially what I'm doing here. I'm adding a shadow under her chin because it pokes out, right? Same thing with the nose. Doesn't the nose poke out? See? So the nose is poking out too. So let's go ahead and add some shadow there. And the ears. Don't the ears have a little poke out part over here? Maybe back here. It's okay. Experiment. Right? So there goes some shadow there. And what about her hair? Her hair is coming out, isn't it? So maybe we add some shadow here. And you can already see a difference, right? So we just gave it a color. Does, it's called a base color, right? We just gave it a color of whatever color we wanted her skin to be. And then we took a darker color and added some shadow. Now, unfortunately, we didn't add a lighter color, right? So it's going to be tough to add light at this point. But if you have crayons, maybe you can kind of get away with it. So we were here. We went down here for the shadow. So now we're going up here for the light. So if the light is up here, right, it's coming down this way, the light. So she probably has a little bit of light right here. She probably has some light right here. Maybe this little point. Now your cheeks, if you look at your face in the mirror and feel it, right? They kind of poke out a little bit. So maybe there's a little bit of light under here. That's it. You don't have to go too crazy. Let me erase this eye because it's just too looks weird. All right. clean up this because I overdid it with the crayon, the color. Let's get rid of this little bit in here. All right. Her hair is kind of not a great color, huh? Let's change that. I'm just gonna change it. If I was using crayons and paper, I'd be kind of stuck, but we're not. So let's make it this color. This color looks fine, right? It's like a red brown kind of color, like a reddish brown. Let's pick a different brush, something we can make really big. There we go. Ah, that's better. Okie doke, what else? Her eyeballs. What color are her eyeballs? Good question. I like to make, the white part of your eye. It's it's not really white, you know what I mean? Let's make it a light gray, and I'll show you why. So imagine if you had white. I'm gonna use light gray for this. If you made the eye light gray, right? When you did put white on it, when you did add white, right? Eventually, to make it maybe shiny or something, you can use white out if you were using a piece of paper to add that white shine to it, right? You'll see the white. See how you can see it? Because it's not white. So what I like to do is I like to add just a little bit of a color inside where the eyes are supposed to be white. So when you add shine later, it'll show up, right? You'll see the shine. You'll see the white of like the light or something that's bouncing off. So it's almost white, but it's not quite white. It's a little bit darker than white. And now you can take some shadow from there, right? And remember the eyelids pop out because aren't your eyes? So your eye is round. This is the part you see out of. Your eye is round, and then you have an eyelid that goes over it. And then these are your eyelashes. And then that's your forehead. That's your nose. So, since your eye is round, it's like a ball, right? Like a sphere that we talked about earlier. So, with that knowledge that we have, we can take just a little bit darker of a gray, add a little bit of shadow under here. What color were her eyes again? I don't remember. Let's make them green. Sure. Let's take a green and make her eyes green. This video is going to take a little while because color is a lot of information. Okay. So now what? Remember the shadow, right? So let's go with a darker green. And let's add shadow up here. And then you can take a lighter green and maybe add some light over here. Oh, and Google is definitely your friend. As you could see, I didn't draw this picture, right? All I did was jump on the internet, found this picture, and went for it. And all I did was type in coloring book and found a whole bunch of pictures that I can use. And sometimes I do this just to practice coloring. Maybe I don't want to take the time to draw something right now. I just kind of want to take a break and relax and color. So I'll just go on the internet and look for things to color. And it works out pretty well, right? So Google is definitely your friend. Okay? But that's just the basics of coloring. like I said, I like to trace the area, right? With my crayon, I like to go around and just make a little border for safety so I don't go over the lines, and then I color my coloring, right? And then I'll use a darker color to maybe add some shadow. But the way crayons normally work is you have to go from light to dark. So you should probably start with the little bit of yellow that's in her eyes, and then go with the green, and then go with the dark green. Or experiment. Do whatever you want. All right? So feel free, practice, do your thing, and I'll see you guys next time.